In the destroyed courtroom, defendant lobby number 5. I did a little research. I looked into those special psych locks you mentioned, Mr. Nick. You did? That's great. I really appreciate it. I have no idea what the fuck they are. A red psych lock protects a secret a person is consciously trying to hide. If the person folds under questioning, the lock breaks and the truth comes out. Yep, that's exactly how I got the truth out of Detective Fulbright and Director Cosmos. But a black psych lock protects a secret from the deepest place in a person's heart. A secret that the person isn't even consciously aware of. I thought that Kristoff was pretty aware of those secrets. He was like, yeah, no, I'm not letting you in on this. So even they don't know what's there. Dina isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart and her memories are sealed off, even from herself. Okay, so all I have to do is break the psych locks. According to my research, a black psych lock is like a heavy chain wrapped directly around one's heart. If they're ripped off by force, it could cause permanent damage to a person's soul. In other words, if I'm not careful, I could traumatize Adina for good. That's not good. Not bad. Pearls, could you stay by Adina's side? She must be suffering under the weight of such a heavy burden. Alright. But will you be alright by yourself, Mr. Nick? I'm up against an Edgeworth. I have to be able to give this trial all of my focus and strength. He was lying to himself? I guess you could see it that way. Sure. And you can't do that if I'm here. I'll just hold you back. No, that's not it. I just meant I can relax and concentrate if I knew you were with Adina. You're the only one who could do it, Pearls. Literally everyone else has abandoned me today. Alright. I'll do it then. Good luck, Mr. Nick. Thank you, Pearls. Good. Now that my mind is at ease. I'd better get ready. I'll just tidy up the evidence and take out what I don't need. It's time to end this nightmare that started 7 years ago. Defense, prosecution, and judge. There are even people in the gallery. There are people here! He was mad that Phoenix had to represent Zach. Ah, okay. I wonder if that'll get revealed later, or it's just forever in his mind. I do wonder about that. The roof has been completely blown off and the walls have collapsed. But today, this ruin, it's my battleground. Hey, look! Court is now in session. All rise. Court, or some facsimile thereof, is now in session for the trial of Adina Sykes. And on my day, fucking off too, guys. Good lord. Not a facsimile, old man. This is a proper official trial. Take this more seriously, or you'll start hearing the bones of the hostages snap. Please try not to upset Miss Blackwell. I'm begging you. I'm pretty sure her dad from the grave will kill me, and I'd also let him do it if Trucy's bones snap. Court is now in session for the very serious and very proper trial of Adina Sykes. This is no real trial. It's nothing more than a ridiculous farce. Edward? What did you say? Edward, did you not hear what I just said to His Honor? However, this ridiculous farce has a very important meaning for our legal system. Called the case of the UR1 incident, in which a prosecutor was found guilty of murder. That case ushered in the odious dark age of the law. I see what you're after. If we can find the real truth behind the case today. Precisely. The darkness will be dispelled and glory shall be restored to the court system. This one case will do all of that. Prosecutor Edgeworth, you sound as if you know something of this truth. I do indeed. A new suspect has emerged in the UR1 case. For 7 years, Simon Blackwell has refused to speak in order to cover for someone else. Brace yourself, Phoenix. Here it comes. Dang it. Edward, please. It's not her. I'm sorry, right? But the situation is what it is, and I must do what I must. The prosecution moves to indict Adina Sykes on the count of murder in the first degree. That's how you do me, Edgeworth? After everything we've been through? Oh, it's an anime cutscene?
Regardless the circumstance, I intend to question the defendant with all I have.
You do have a British accent.
For that is a part of my creed.
Oh, he's taking off his glasses. No, don't you need that to see?
Then you'd better bring it.
Huh.
If the two of you are ready.
If the two of you will stop making out in the courtroom.
Court is now in session for the trial of Athena Sykes.
Your Honor, the defense was born ready.
The prosecution is also ready.
Yeah. Back at it again. This immense sexual tension between us. It's like we're picking up right where we left off. It's my duty to clear Prosecutor Blackwell of false accusations and end this instantly. But I have no intention of losing Miss Sykes either. She's a very promising young lawyer. I know without a doubt that Adina is innocent. But I don't think Prosecutor Blackwell did it either. So do you have any clue who was responsible for the sabotage? At the very least, I know it wasn't Simon Blackwell. I don't know enough to identify the true culprit, but it's clear what that person is. But it's simply a spy! The true culprit is a spy. It's gonna be hard to convince anyone of that when I barely believe it myself. But I don't have a choice if I want to save Adina and Blackwell and expose the spy. Now then, Chief Prosecutor Edgeworth. No need for the Chief Prosecutor bit, Your Honor. I'm here as a simple prosecutor. Very well. Your opening statement, please, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Though I've been known of late to give an impressive opening statement myself, I've done it multiple times. In all the trials I've ever seen, only the prosecution gives an opening statement. What the fuck have you been doing? Of course you're right. I was just joking. Just having a little fun. A little prank. See, he wasn't doing them just out of fear? Interesting. Let's start with a brief overview of the UR1 incident. It's just a social experiment, if you will. The incident occurred at the Cosmos Space Center 7 years ago, on October 7th. The victim psychologist Metis Sykes was killed in the robotics lab on the 4th floor. Dina's mother. Simon Blackwell, a young prosecutor at the time, was found guilty of the crime. There were two deciding factors that led to his guilty verdict. One, Blackwell was the only person in the corridor to the lab to the lab at the time of the murder. And two, this photo, which captured the moment of the crime. Very incriminating evidence indeed. It would appear that the only conclusion is that Prosecutor Blackwell did indeed. I also saw a little autosave up there. Are you kidding me? I'm not accepting any conclusion of that kind. This opening statement is over. Now hurry up and call the witness. Excuse me, Miss Blackwell, but we must follow proper procedure for these things, you know. Or perhaps we should heed her wishes, Your Honor. She is the trial's sponsor, after all. Besides, the courtroom is chilly, and sitting for too long can't be good for your back. Oh, you are very kind to show such concern for the welfare of the elderly. As skilled as ever at playing the court puppeteer, I say. It's like, really, bitch? Really? The prosecution calls its first witness. A witness who decided to bring forth new testimony after 7 long years. No! New testimony? And who is this witness anyway? Is it the court sponsor? Or is it her brother? Oh, for fuck's sakes. Bobby Fulbright's the name. In justice we trust. What are you doing here? I'm just here to speak for the hostage taker, Miss Aura Blackwell. Oh, so it is her. She says she's too busy with confining and threatening the hostages and all. That doesn't seem to stop her from constantly chiming in through Clonko. I'm nothing more than an observer in this. Do your best. I'm watching you. Believing her brother innocent, Miss Blackwell has been conducting her own investigation. And though her current actions are hardly lawful, I think we can at least hear her theory. Yeah, sure, fuck it, why not? I have here Miss Blackwell's notes on the investigation she conducted. And I'll be giving testimony based on these notes. Here I go! If you could just have Clonko speak it. Okay. Or Blackwell's theory. Let me do an impression of her. Simon isn't the murderer. He was trying to cover for someone. Someone else was at the scene at the time. They say Simon committed the murder. I mean, if he really was out to steal that moon rock, then why the rolling case? Because he was using it to hide someone inside. That's why. And the only person small enough to fit inside that case was Athena Sykes. That was an amazing impression. What did you think? Yeah, that's okay, I guess. And that's Miss Blackwell's theory. It totally goes in the face of the official ruling. Huh. How about the case? She mentioned there were other rolling cases like that one in the lab, but they're not for traveling. They're apparently for moving parts and equipment. Oh, well. Charles did say we should ride in one of the cases. I vaguely remember seeing 3 cases, all different sizes. At the last trial, they thought the prosecutor Blackwell used the case to steal the rock. Let me see these cases again. All 3 cases could be hiding. She could be hiding in there. And they had a perfectly good reason to think that too. You see, there's a security camera in the corridor that leads to the robotics lab. Did I skip? No, his image just came up real fast and then immediately traced to this. And that camera captured footage of Blackwell leaving the scene with the case. I can see why that footage helped to bring his trial to a quick end. It's very convincing, that's for sure. 7-year-old video updated in the court record. That case, by the way, was later discovered outside on the Space Center grounds. Speaking of after the incident, where was the defendant, Athena Sykes, found? She was found on the 5th floor of the Space Center in the Sykes family residence. Outside the Space Center grounds. And then she was found on the 5th floor Yeah, the Sykes family residence? Yeah, I guess we haven't explored all the floors, have we? Gonna be in me. Oh, hello! Thank you for following, Flitchard. He's definitely a character, that's for sure. Oh boy. Alright. Which I think he's entirely guilty of being a spy, but that's my crack theory. Prosecutor Blackwell most likely brought her there after the incident. In addition, it's unknown where Miss Sykes was at the estimated time of death. Miss Sykes was too confused by the shock of her mother's death to give proper testimony. There was no witness or evidence to tell us where she might have been. So what you're saying is Miss Sykes didn't have an alibi. That is what the evidence is saying. Yes. I believe Fulbright is probably maybe the spy and behind everything. Do not confirm or deny this, please. I understand the reasoning behind the theory, but I'm far from convinced. The victim is the accused's mother. Are you actually claiming an 11-year-old girl? Of course, the girl had very strong motive. Dr. Sykes was a psychologist who wrote many papers about speech and emotions. You're aware of Athena Sykes' special ability, aren't you, Your Honor? What? You referring to that therapy thing? I thought she just had technology or whatever. What the fuck? Yeah, she's done it for quite a few times in court. The ability to read emotions from speech. The subject of her mother's research. Well, as long as it benefits society, I don't see any particular problem researching it. I mean, I don't like what this is heading. Not one bit. Dr. Sykes was so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments. Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you seriously suggesting? I've done my best to be delicate, but even you can't deny it to be true, Mr. Wright. No longer able to withstand the anguish of the experiments. Miss Sykes felt her only choice was to kill her own mother. No, not that. No. Ah! Ah! Order! Order in the court! What a tragic story. I hardly want to believe it myself. But we must proceed. Mr. Wright, if you could, Detective Fulbright, please refer to the notes. Or Blackwell's theory. Trying to cover for someone. Hold it! Do you have extensive notes when I press somebody, or what? So, Prosecutor Blackwell willingly accepted a death sentence to protect someone else. Yes, that is precisely what Miss Blackwell appears to believe! And that is what I believe as well. Prosecutor Blackwell is no murderer, Mr. Wright. But Athena Sykes certainly didn't kill anyone either, Mr. Edgeworth. So it appears neither of us can afford to go easy on the other. Fine. I expected no less. Oh, I remember this tense sexual atmosphere. It's so invigorating. I'm only reading notes here, but yeah, I feel extra invigorated too. So let's keep going. We're all invigorated today. Is that what they call it? Is that what the kids call it these days? Committed the murder. But that's just speculation.
Objection!
Objection. No, Miss Blackwell had proper grounds for her claims.
Objection!
Objection! Then why didn't you say so in the first place?
Objection!
Objection! You're the one who screamed, "Hold it!" and cut me off. Fine. So maybe I jumped the gun by a teeny weeny bit. Now I know what they mean when they say close enough to argue. Moving on.
Hold it!
Then why the rolling case? This rolling case, I suppose you mean the one that existed in the photo with Prosecutor Blackwell in it, but was absent when the crime scene photos were taken. Yes, that's the one. And Miss Blackwell has drawn a conclusion from these two photos. She has? And what is that conclusion? You're the one with her notes, the fuck? Oh, right, of course, I'm reading them now. Okay, oh, yes.
Hold it!
And how do you propose he hit a person inside one of those cases? Have you forgotten that we just saw just such a thing only the other day? At your own daughter's magic show. You invited him to the magic show? Aww. They went on a date. She fit a grown person into a small box. That's magic, dude. Oh, yeah. Way to ruin the memory of a good date, man. Come on. A magic show? I wish you would have thought to invite me. Actually, I would have liked to go too. What is this? A group date? My apologies. I'll invite you both next time, I promise. So, wait a minute. I would love to see just if they ever do this anime, just show them at the magic show, just hanging out, like, yeah. So, wait a minute. What were we talking about again? Oscar Blackwell was using the case to hide someone.
Hold it!
I mean, there's not small people that could fit in there. But that's nothing more than conjecture. And it's hardly the only possibility. In that case, what do you think Prosecutor Blackwell had in that case? I think it was the moon rock.
Objection!
Objection. There were 3 cases at the scene. The Prosecutor Blackwell used the largest one. The moon rock was egg-shaped and only about 8 inches in diameter. It wouldn't have made any sense to use the largest case there just to move the rock. Objection! Be that as it may, it doesn't prove Miss Sykes was inside. Huh. Now let me ask you this. Can you come up with a better theory of what was in that case? Well, Mr. Wright, can you? Yikes. Give a guy some time to think. Let's see. Should I try to bluff my way through what could have been in that case? We bluff. We bluff. I know exactly what Prosecutor Blackwell carried from the scene. Just have to find something that was missing, right? No sweat. Something that was missing in the photo. Something big. Was it the Hope Capsule? Well, that's what the moon rock was in, right? Back then? Diagram, we have some, and this is the murdered scene. This is the other image. That's not missing, that's there. What would you carry in there? Moonrock was stolen. Hope Capsule can be seen on the workbench. There are rolling cases for moving equipment, a robot charging station, a toolkit on the floor. There's a hanging scroll and a Japanese theater mask on the wall. And in this, what's missing is the robot arm? Did he take the robot arm? Oh, it could be. There's no robot arm there. I'm gonna go with the robot arm. Oh, I'd be very interested in hearing your theory if it's true, that is. This is crime scene photo taken after Prosecutor Blackwell left, correct? All we have to do is compare this with the photo of Prosecutor Blackwell to see what's missing. If he took something with him, it should be in one of these photos. Lady Luck, don't fail me now. Alright then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your theory. What did Prosecutor Blackwell take from the scene of the murder? This arm.
Take that!
Please notice that there is a robot part on top of the cart in this photo. However, in this photo taken after the crime, the robot part is gone. In other words, this part is something that was taken from the scene of the crime. You do appear to be right. I don't see it in the second picture. But it's just a piece of junk. How important could it be? Is it really just an insignificant robot part? Speaking of which, what are you looking at? I'm gonna start charging for each glance per eyeball. Stingy, stingy! What happened to the age of free previews? What? Ahem, Your Honor. About this robot part. Doesn't it look like it could be an arm from that robot over there? Well, now that you mention it, it does, doesn't it? The case is too big to be practical for just a moonrock and a robot arm. Was it really just a one arm that was in there? If it wasn't Adina in that case, then maybe... I believe there was another robot at the scene that looks just like the one here. Your Honor, it is the defense's assertion that it was this other robot that was in the case. There's a lot of things in there. What?
Objection!
We can't be certain that part belonged to a robot. Because it looks like an arm of a one before us. But it could be something else entirely. Besides, it's wrapped entirely in bandaging. Makes it difficult to verify what it is.
Objection!
Objection! Now for a fact, it is a robot arm. I can't even tell which robot it belonged to, just by looking at it. With this information, we can investigate whether it was there at the time or not. But Mr. Wright, I thought you were more the technologically illiterate type. I think you still use a flip phone. When did you become such an expert? I feel somehow abandoned. Not to worry, Your Honor. I still know next to nothing about machines. But I know this piece of evidence proves which robot arm it belonged to. Which robot the arm belonged to. Oh, we can't. Oh, we need a piece of evidence. I was gonna pick the robot. Let's see. There you are.
Take that!
There you go. Punko. The robot in this picture is named Punko. But take a look at Punko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who bandaged it up like that. She must have thought the machines healed the same way that people do. Oh, that's so precious. What an adorable, naive mistake. It reminds me of my own grandchild. You mentioned this grandchild a couple of times. Is this character going to become important later? The robot arm that at the crime scene had the same bandaging wrapped around it. Oh my god, the grandchild's behind everything. They're the secret spy. In other words, this robot arm could belong to none other than Ponko. Order in the court! Order, I say! Prosecutor Edgeworth, what do you have to say to this? I can see that the robot is about the same size as a child. But it cannot grab its knees and curl itself into a ball. I mean, you can disassemble it though. Even if it was the largest of the cases, the robot couldn't have possibly fit in there. The case does come up to about mid-thigh on Prosecutor Blackwell. I see your point. The robot is much taller than that. You've got me there. So then, did Prosecutor Blackwell make Punko fit into the case by dismantling her? Of course, Punko would fit. All Prosecutor Blackwell had to do was dismantle her. Once taken apart, the robot could have easily fit inside that rolling case. It appears to be a robot assembly device. It's anything in a flash. Now push it, Mr. Nick. Push that one. It sounds rather violent, but Miss Wright does have a point there. Objection. Except that there was a body on the table where robots are dismantled and assembled. There would have been no room to take the robot apart.
Objection!
Objection! But what if it wasn't done on the table? What if the katana was used instead? Wait, what? You're gonna say a katana? You used a fucking katana to cut apart metal? That shit must be strong as fuck. Hell, he must be strong as fuck. You mean the sword? Yes, Your Honor. Miss Blackwell, I'd like your opinion as a woman of science. Isn't it true that a katana could have been used to take the robot apart? I suppose so. Their joints are made of very tough material. A blade could slice through them. Thank you for your expert opinion, Miss Blackwell. Thanks to you, we now know that the existence of the severed arm in the photo proves that Punko was taken apart. In addition, since the rest of Punko was not found at the scene, we can conclude that the true meaning of this photo is very different from the original interpretation. You can't mean? That's exactly what I mean. This photo does not capture the moment of the murder. It is instead a picture of the moment after the robot was sliced apart. The blood you see where the arm was cut off was transferred there by the bloody katana. Most likely the rest of Punko was scattered around Prosecutor Blackwell's feet. Not hearing this. Therefore, what was transported inside that case was not the defendant, but a robot. Miss Sykes never was at the scene of at the time of the murder. My head, my body. Where am I? Are you good? Order in the court. It's true that Punko was found in pieces after the murder. And I'll admit, I repaired her myself afterwards. The photo shows Blackwell taking the robot apart. There's a blood stain at the end of the robot's arm. Yes, I'm finally making progress. We're doing it, guys. Yeah, I'm chewing right now. I am not a robot. I need snacks to survive. Hopefully I've gotten at least one step closer. To proving both Adina and Prosecutor Blackwell innocent.
Objection!
Objection! Well played, Mr. Wright. You've made your point abundantly clear. I can see that it wasn't the defendant inside the rolling case, but the robot. He's done it! He conceded! We did it! We won, guys! Let's go home. Alright. What's going on here? It's never good when he plays things this straight. He never does that! I can tell from experience. Does the prosecution withdraw its claim that the defendant was carried from the scene? No, Your Honor. My claim hasn't changed.
Objection!
Objection! Punko and Miss Sykes couldn't have both been in that case.
Objection!
Objection! The notion that the case was used to carry Miss Sykes was Miss Blackwell's theory. I've been of a different opinion from the outset. I'll finally have the opportunity to voice my theory. Oh yeah? What is it then? Thanks to the defense. What? Edgeworth! He's been one step ahead of me this whole time.
In the case, how do you propose the defendant left the crime scene?
Simple. The footage only shows Prosecutor Blackwell from behind. What's more, he's holding his arm in front of his body, as if he were holding something or someone. That's hardly evidence. I have proof. The surcoat Prosecutor Blackwell was wearing. Yeah, let's see the footage here. You think she could be there, I guess. The victim's blood was found on the front of it, and the stain had a highly distinctive shape.
A blood stain with a distinctive shape. Please continue, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
7 years ago, the defendant was known to constantly wear a certain item, of which there is only one in the world, a special pair of headphones made just for her. She always wore these big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her. Analysis showed that the bloodstain to be in the exact shape as these headphones. In other words, this was no mere blood splatter. The blood went from the victim's body to the headphones, and then was imprinted onto Prosecutor Blackwell's coat like a stamp.
A most gruesome stamp indeed.
Blackwell carried Miss Sykes, who had been hit by splatter, away from the crime scene. This proves that Adina Sykes was without question present at the crime scene. And that concludes the prosecution's argument.
Order! The defendant was indeed at the scene. It deepens the suspicion against her.
Objection! But we've also shown that the robot was there at the scene as well. Objection! I hope you're not making the ridiculous claim that a simple robot was the real murderer. I don't really think that, no. But you can't say the possibility isn't there. Detective Fulbright, was the robot questioned at the time? If you say yes, that's insane. But also smart. No, I don't see any record of it. I believe it was considered unrelated to the case. But as it turned out, the robot was actually integrally related. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Ponko to the stand. Sorry, the idea of a robot coming to the stand is very funny to me.
A robot witness?
That's absurd. Are we having this in a debris-filled courtroom?
Order! Order in the court! Prosecutor Edgeworth, what do you think about this?
Mr. Red has called all manner of witnesses to the stand over the years. So why not a robot? Nothing surprises me anymore with him. He called a fucking bird to the stand once to save my ass.
Very well. I will allow the witness. Bailiff, please summon the robot named Ponko.
Yo, what up? Witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is not Witness. My name is Ponko. Yes, I realize that, but when you are at the witness stand, you are the witness. No, I am not. I'm Ponko. Say it with me. Ponko!
What an utterly inflexible little robot.
You're the last person who should be calling anybody inflexible, and I should know. Hey, yo. Hey, yo, dude. Haha. You remind me of my grandchild who just learned his own name. Oh, how precious. Alright, Ponko. I'm going to ask you some questions. Questions? You have questions? Hooray! What are your answers? What are your questions, I mean? I want to know if you were there at the scene of the murder of Mrs. Sykes.
It was 7 years ago, on the 7th of October, around 2 p.m. in the robotics lab.
Certainly. Just one moment. Searching data. Search complete. Yes, I was there in the robotics lab.
Oh my god. No one thought to question this robot. It would seem this robot's testimony is necessary to the case after all. This is great. I just knew Punko must have seen something important. Murder committed right before this poor little girl's eyes. It's inexcusable. Are you talking about the robot or are you talking about Athena? Just seems ready to adopt Punko as another grandchild. So, little Punko, do you think you can give us your testimony today? Let's go, Punko. What did you see?
I went to the robotics lab at 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis. And then Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging. So I don't know anything.
God damn it.
After I charged up, I was cleaning the room. And Mr. Simon came in. And then an error occurred. There is no data after this point.
I assume, traumatized. Good old Punko got severed. Hugged her mom, and then she fell down. Not the greatest phrase, Punko. Come on, give me something else. Well, it sounds like the defendant was without a question at the scene. However, it doesn't appear that the witness saw the actual moment of the murder. I disagree. This testimony shows that the defendant did indeed commit the crime. What? At the end of the day, we mustn't forget that the witness is still a machine. Being a robot, its understanding and capacity to express itself are limited. So what are you suggesting?
The witness's statement needs to be interpreted. For example, the terms hugged and later fell down. Adults don't usually fall down after being hugged by a child.
They don't. But
Yes. What this witness's statements are telling us is...
the defendant stabbed the victim with a murder weapon during this moment. What?
Not good. Not good at all. Before Miss Sykes hugged Dr. Sykes, did the two of them converse?
Did they?
Yes, they did. They spoke to each other very loudly, but I don't know what they said. Athena is usually so quiet, so I was surprised.
Damn it, damn it, damn it.
Spoke very loudly. We can interpret this to mean they argued.
You don't know, they could just be doing voice training exercises. You do not know.
See, murdered after a heated argument, and the victim fell down.
Agreed that it does sound like a reasonable interpretation. However, Punko just seemed to remember anything that happened after that.
When I am recharging, I go into sleep mode. But I remember everything before that. I have very good memory. You may as well admit defeat now, right? A cross-examination would be useless.
Don't be ridiculous.
Cross-examination is never useless.
Till now, think about it. Robots don't lie.
This robot is both an important witness and a valuable evidence at the same time. Nevertheless, I will have my cross-examination. I see you haven't changed. You never were one to worry about wasting time.
Very well. Even if it may be a waste of time, you may proceed, Mr. Wright. Thank you. Show you both just how fruitful my cross-examinations can be. Press the statement. 2 p.m., huh? Your regular recharge. What is that exactly? Hang on, did I ever read this? Probably the autopsy. Mattis's report. Estimated time of death between 1 and 3 p.m. on October 7th. Cause of death, instant death due to her stab wound to the heart. Ouch. I have to refill my battery's power or else I stop working. I go to the lab to do that. So that recharge occurred around 2 p.m. around the time of the murder. That's right, I go every day at 2 p.m. Hold it. Hugged her, huh? Which Edgeworth took to mean stabbed her with a weapon. You said the two of them were talking before Miss Sykes hugged her mother, is that right? Yes, they were talking very loudly, but I couldn't tell what they were saying. Couldn't tell. Even though they were speaking so loudly. I'm only allowed to listen to voices that are directed at me. Oh. If it listened to every voice, it would be a little better than a mobile eavesdropper. Oh, damn it. Well, that explains why some of Punko's testimony is so vague. It's a shame that her little friend wasn't listening in, however. We could have learned what they were talking about just before Dr. Sykes was killed. Isn't there anything that they said to you? Anything at all? Now then, what happened after that? Oh, fell down, huh? I don't want to delve too deeply here, but could you tell us how the victim appeared to and acted at this moment? Mommy Metis was very surprised when she was hugged. I heard her heart pound. Uh-oh. Her heart? Mr. Wright, have you forgotten about this document we found in the robotics lab? These robots have heartbeat detection system. Now that he mentions that, I do remember something like that there. Detect the presence of people by the sound of their heartbeats. Wait a minute. That means Dr. Sykes really did die at this moment. Punko, how was Dr. Sykes after she fell down? Would you still hear the sound of her heartbeat? Let's see. The moment she fell, her heart was pounding. After that, I don't know. I started recharging just then. Of all the unlucky time, if you had heard anything after that, it could have possibly proved that the pug wasn't actually the moment of the murder. I'm very sorry. I'm afraid I don't know. I'm very sorry. The robot is designed to go into sleep mode automatically, so it can't be helped. It does appear it detected an increased heart rate at the moment of the stabbing. After Mommy Menace's heart started pounding in surprise, she fell by the window. It was the round window on the workbench side of the room. The workbench, huh? Wait. Paco must be talking about that table to the right where the giant robot is now. Is there something critical in Punko's statement just now? There is something! First of all, it said that her heart was still pounding after the hug. I mean, it could have... If it's the moment of the murder, then... Doesn't it stop immediately? But even then, she seems to have fallen to a different part of the room. Your Honor, I believe this statement is critical. I'd like to add it to her testimony. Very well. Punko, would you please add that statement to your testimony? That's a good little girl. Mommy Menace fell down near the round window on the workbench side of the room. Objection! Punko, your statement may have just inspired a breakthrough. I was helpful. Hooray! I'm so happy! Woo! Just to be sure, let's go over it again, okay? The victim fell near the window on the workbench side of the room. However, the body was discovered on the operating table. But the operating table and the workbench are two different locations. Exactly, Your Honor. We've just learned a new crucial fact. What could explain the two very different locations of the body? I'll tell you what, the victim moved. The defendant moved the body. I'm gonna assume that we don't want this one to be true, so I'm gonna go with the victim moved. An 11-year-old girl couldn't have moved the heavy body of an adult. So the only explanation is that the victim walked to the operating table herself. In other words, Paco observed near the workbench? Couldn't possibly have been the moment of the murder. Hooray! Ooh, I'm very relieved to hear that. Glad to know the murder wasn't committed in front of little Punko here. Yes, as we just heard in the testimony, Miss Sykes hugged her mother. Nothing more. Objection! Right. This man loves saying his name. It's been 8 years, but you're still just as green as ever. Green? But I can't recall ever seeing Mr. Wright in anything but a blue suit. Hey, blue's my favorite color. What can I say? The defendant couldn't move the body herself. She could have had it moved for her. By Simon? Moved for her. But Miss Sykes and Dr. Sykes were the only ones there. I agree. Since this robot is equipped with a heartbeat detection system, it would have been aware of another person's presence if somebody else had been there. We can therefore conclude that the defendant and the victim were the only ones present. And who do you suggest moved the body? Don't you know it's the nature of a robot to help people do things? Miss Panko, allow me to ask you a question. Got her name wrong. My name is Punko. Say it with me. Punko. I believe you were cleaning after Dr. Sykes fell down. Did you happen to move something large onto the operating table? Yes I did. Athena asked me to. Oh, fuck. Athena asked you to? I don't want to move, little Punko. I don't know. Unless something has an ID tag, I can't tell what it is. ID tag, you say? Yes, a tag with a barcode on it. We robots scan them to tell us what a thing is. The paper in the lab, they mentioned something about that. Scanning their spacesuit or uniform check an ID tag, but can also recognize a person by facial features once their face has been registered, though. So, it can't be Miss Sykes, Dr. Sykes. So it would appear that Miss Panko here can't identify what a movie. It's not a hard name to remember! You're just doing this on purpose. My name is Panko! But we humans have the power to imagine what it was, do we not? We do? Well, I do at the very least. Smarter than all you fucks. Miss Panko on the defendant's command moved the body onto the operating table. Punko, did you really move Miss Sykes' body? This is really important. Is there any way you could tell? I don't know. Without an ID tag, I can't tell. Give it up for right. If the victim's heart was stopped, the robot's detection system would be useless. Furthermore, Dr. Sykes usually wore her white lab coat while she was working. She kept a jacket with her ID tag on it draped over the chair in the robotics lab, and only wore it for special occasions. But that jacket had an injury on it, so she must have worn it when she died. I'm sure of it. She must have worn it where as she died. Also, the facial recognition system, I think, will be the key one here. key evidence. In other words, the victim wasn't wearing her ID tag at the time. From the robot's point of view, her body was simply just another object.
Objection!
Objection! The Punko is equipped with facial recognition system. If she really did move the victim, she would have recognized the body as Dr. Sykes. But she didn't. So that means...
Objection!
Objection. The face can be easily covered by a piece of cloth, a mask, or anything else for that matter. Fuck! You know, just... With her facial features hidden, the robot wouldn't be able to tell it was Dr. Sykes. He's right! To summarize, Miss Sykes stabbed her mother near the workbench, and using the robot, she moved the body to the table. She removed the sword and was stained in blood. Bam! Order! But if that's the case, then I have a question. Why did the defendant move the body to the operating table in the first place? Do you want a reason? Very well. What? What? You can't possibly have an explanation. Your emotions blind you to the truth. You could learn a lot from our robot friend. Calm and rational thought will open your eyes to the truth in front of you, Mr. Wright. Now then, do you remember the operating table's one special feature? I believe that the robots can be assembled and disassembled there, isn't that right? That's right. And to the defendant, who was just a child at the time, the table was like a magic box that could make robots appear or disappear in seconds. Oh, Jesus Christ! Are you suggesting what I think you're suggesting? At the end, my mom just put her on the operating table and fixed her in a flash. I was so impressed by what my mom did. I even asked her if she would put me on the table and fix me if I ever got her. Oh, for fuck's sakes! Looks like just like magic to me. What she could do? No! You can't possibly be suggesting. This young, sheltered girl had a difficult time distinguishing robots from people. But take a look at Punko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who bandaged it up like that. That's what machines heal the same way people do. And an adorable knife. Oh no, this is much more sinister. No way. I refuse to believe it. Miss Sykes made a childish, naive, and cruel mistake. She thought that if a robot could be dismantled and vanish without a trace. Prosecutor Edgeworth! If you're about to claim what I think you are, I demand that you word it as delicately as you can. This game is rated T14. We cannot describe this. With all due respect, Your Honor, all I can do is present the truth as it stands. The reason the defendant moved the victim's body to the operating table...
Hold it!
Hold it! No! Don't say another word, just stop! He's gonna say it. Was to dismantle the evidence so that she could get away with her crime. Dismantle the evidence, oh no! She was about to sukuna the shit out of that evidence. That can't be. That can't be true! Oh shit! This isn't good. Order! Order in the court! Order in the court, I say! Edgeworth. She was just a little kid. You say such a horrible thing. Horrible. Like I said, you're just as green as ever. I came here today as a prosecutor to seek only the truth, no more, no less. My theory is simply the result of a rational consideration of every possibility.
Objection!
But dismantling isn't the table's only function. It can make repairs as well. It's inconceivable that Miss Sykes moved her mother to the table in order to fix her. I suppose that could be another way of interpreting it. But dismantle or repair, it doesn't matter either way. What do you mean? After murdering her mother, Miss Sykes may have come to her senses. Perhaps she did want to make it appear as if it had never happened. That's why she tried to repair her mother. Yes, that's one possible explanation. But we mustn't forget the facts of this case. The victim was observed to fall down after being hugged by the defendant, and the body was moved per the defendant's command. These two facts that indicate the defendant's guilt remain unchanged. This can't be true. Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence to refute the prosecution's claim? Evidence? Right. Let's see. I can't think of any. I'm afraid I don't have any evidence. Since becoming chief prosecutor, I've learned that the truth isn't always pretty. Now accept the truth, Mr. Wright. Your subordinate murdered her own mother. Your Honor, the prosecution demands a verdict. The hostages have suffered enough. What a terrible and tragic conclusion. If the defense has no counter-argument, I see no need to further prolong this trial. Edgeworth's argument seems solid enough, but there's no way Athena could have ever done anything like that. What do? There has to be something. I can't think of a single thing. Objection! Is it Pearl or Athena? Oh! Blackwell! Prosecutor Blackwell? This is quite the farce you're conducting here. I could die from laughter. Prosecutor Blackwell, what are you talking about? What am I talking about is that your argument is based on an entirely false premise. Go on, we're listening. Could this be the miracle I need? But what is Prosecutor Blackwell trying to pull here? 7 years. For 7 long years. This case has been on my mind. Not for an instant did I not think of it. The one who killed my mentor, don't think you can alter that fact now. I'm the one that killed my mentor. Don't think you can alter that fact now. Your baldness! I will take the stand and I won't take no for an answer. Of course, Prosecutor Blackwell. Please, go ahead. It's time to hear his witness testimony. I went to Cosmos Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Sykes, but when I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead. I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return. And then I committed the act. Ah, how cathartic it was! But little Ponko here witnessed the victim falling. In other words, objection! I don't need any of your other words, old man. I could guess what happened. Which would be... She fell means she fell. Merely that. A mother and daughter fooling around. Perhaps she tripped. Not that it matters. When I entered the lab, there was no trace of Dr. Sykes to be seen. There was no dead body either. Of course, meaning she must have left the room. So the murder occurred after the time period Ponko described in her testimony. You should hardly take stock in the words of a wind-up toy.
Objection!
Objection! Then how do you explain the fact that the defendant had the robot move something? Athena was always tinkering with robots on the operating table to amuse herself. She always had Ponko move the heavy ones for her. That day was no different. Ponko moved the heavy robot for Athena. This is awful. What he's saying seems to make sense. And yet...
Objection!
Objection? Prosecutor Blackwell, are you trying to even now turn away? Are you trying even now to turn away from the truth? Don't you realize we could bring the dark age of law to a close today?
Objection!
Objection! You expect too much from me.
I'm just a murderer beyond redemption. Why don't you just let me go so I can settle down into hell? Prosecutor Blackwell's execution is tomorrow. If the truth doesn't come out now, it's all over.
Are you saying that the little girl and the robot had nothing to do with the murder?
That's right. So let's hear your verdict. If we don't hurry, I might miss the ferry across the Styx.
Hold it!
Hold it. Don't you dare, Judge. Don't forget I have hostages over here. Yeah, we kind of need them to not die. And Simon, how long are you going to cover for her?
Miss Blackwell.
Forgive me, Aura. I never wanted you to do anything like this for me. But you agreed to this trial. If you have a counter-argument, then present your evidence. That's the rule of the courtroom. Isn't that right, Chief Prosecutor? Blackwell, you selfish.
Well, to be frank, I don't like this, but it's my duty to make a decision, even if the decision will kill a bunch of hostages. I mean, I have to do this. If no one has a counter-argument, I will announce my verdicts. Please, someone have something. Good lord, I don't want to do this.
It's really happening? Is it really going to end just like it did 7 years ago? Both of these outcomes suck! I wanted to do it so bad. Even now, I want to fly out of here and go save him. No, I can't tell her. I'm not gonna lie to Adina. I can't prove Prosecutor Blackwell's innocence in this trial. I don't think Adina will ever forgive me. I can't let this happen. I just don't have the evidence to counter Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. Oh wow, I guess it's over. These people are gonna die. It's crazy. Hold it!
Who? It's Adina! Uh-oh.
Adina, what are you feeling okay? I can hear it. I can hear the voice of his heart. He's hiding something. If he really is, I could sure use Adina's help here. Our power might just be able to get... might be just the thing to get us through this. Objection! Sykes, Dono. No need for you to chime in here. Just accept that you're innocent. Objection! These past 7 years, they've been just as hard on me as, you know. What are you talking about? Do you remember? That horrible, horrible trial. Please, you have to listen to me.
This poor girl.
He didn't kill her. His heart is screaming that he didn't kill her.
Even though she was shy, she tried. She tried to take the stand.
Even now, every time I stand in a courtroom, it comes back to haunt me. And that man's toupee. Oh god, it's terrible. I mean, it's not... That toupee is way too unfitting. Of being hurt. No matter how hard you try. Feeling so helpless. Aw. Caught in people's stares. So scared that it feels like your chest is in a vice. I'm terrified of courtrooms. I want to run out of that door even now. And yet you found a way to keep your fears at bay and became a lawyer. Thanks. That's because one day I came to realize that I had to fight. I couldn't give up. I exercised hard and I studied hard. I wanted to become the strongest lawyer I could be. This day has finally come. The day I've been looking forward to with all my heart. This is why I became a lawyer. This is why I studied psychology. It was all to save you from this false conviction.
But Miss Sykes, do you realize what it would mean? You are the accused, after all. If you prove Prosecutor Blackwell innocent, Then... The only thing that matters is the truth. It's my duty to find out what that truth is. Simon, please give me this chance. The chance to shake off this fear that's been with me for 7 years and face the truth. Dina is being so brave, confronting her past like this. This might really be the last chance to save them both. Prosecutor Blackwell, please testify one more time about the incident 7 years ago. He's like, I really don't want this to happen. Fine, but your efforts will surely be in vain, for I am not a man who can be cut down easily. Here we go, Simon. Let me hear the voice of your heart. It's time for this fancy therapy. Anger. He's not here. Anger, but happy to see it, Dina. I mean, yeah. Still happy. Really happy for some reason. He says it's cathartic. So, Catharsis does have happiness with it, I guess. This isn't entirely impossible, but still weird. He cares about Athena. It's either this one or this one. Let's pinpoint this. Or lack of anger, I guess. When you view your emotions alongside your testimony, you find unexpected about... Wait a minute. There really isn't anything strange here. I don't know, but I think maybe we made a mistake, Mr. Wright. I think you may be right. Let's take another look. There must be an unexpected emotion here somewhere. Let me get a hint from Athena here. His emotions are very guarded, and his defenses are way up. He steeled his will, as if he'll never let his secrets be known. Oh, I don't know about that. We've got a couple of strong wills on our side, too. Prosecutor Blackwell isn't the killer. I'm going to prove it. But what was he trying to do that day? If we approach it from that angle, I bet we can find an emotion that just doesn't add up. What he was trying to do that day. Wanted to kill Dr. Sykes. He was angry at her. Let's try this one. Got it! This feeling of happiness. Even though the person you were looking for wasn't there, you felt happy. Why is that? Simple. When I was looking for Athena and hadn't found her yet, I grew worried. So when I saw her in the robotics lab, I was happily relieved. Merely that. I went down by so much. Just now you said you went to the Space Center to kill Dr. Sykes. But the first thing you did was look for her daughter instead? I had no intention of harming Athena, so I want to confirm that she was safe first. It was just a part of my plan. Nothing contradictory about that. Gah! The second I find an inconsistency, he cuts it down. He is very good at that. Simon knows the principles of analytical psychology. There's less noise now. I don't see any instabilities we can latch onto. I was afraid of that. Just to keep him chipping away at him bit by bit. Could you update his testimony, Athena? You got it, boss. Went to the center. Found Athena. Found Athena in the robotics lab. I was relieved. But I will not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Sykes to return. When she did, I plunged the katana. Ha! Athena was there, you were sad. No, even you can't fault. Not even you can falsify your emotions. Prosecutor Blackwell. What? When you said that you killed Dr. Sachs in your testimony, you felt sadness. Why would someone who had lain in wait to kill her be sad at her death? Such an obvious attack. Yes, I felt sadness, but it wasn't for her. I felt sorry for Adina and her circumstances. God, he can't be talking about that, can he? It was just a convenient subject for her research. Damn it! Dr. Sachs was so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments. My objective was to save Adina from an obsessive scientist who treated her own daughter like a research subject. What? I went to the psychology lab first. That's where I would usually find Adina playing. So now I think about, do we have... No, we do not have a diagram of this area. But that day was different. I heard someone crying in the robotics lab next door. Was Adina being subjected to yet another experiment? I thought as I went to see. Conveniently, Adina had cried herself to sleep, so all I had to do was wait and kill. So that's why he was relieved when he saw Adina. But is this story really true? I'm not sure how much to believe. Mr. Wright. How you doing, Adina? Still hanging in there? I'm a lot stronger than I look, boss. Now take a look at this. The noise level actually increased. Oh, fucking hey, really? It's crazy. It went up? I've never seen it do that before. Prosecutor Blackwell is lying somewhere in his testimony. As a matter of fact, he's piling lie on top of lie in an attempt to make his claim sound more believable. He's trying even harder to suppress his true feelings, and that's what's causing the noise. How in the world should I approach this? An evidence-based approach might work if I can find a contradiction. Otherwise, I should look for an inconsistency in his emotions. Ha! There are no flaws in my testimony, and his baldness is prepared to give his verdict. Give up on this lost cause and let the law free me of this chains already. Objection! I don't think so. Not while I'm around. Contradictory testimony or consistent emotions. What should I tackle first? Let's see here. Oops, almost fell there. Let's go back. An evidence-based approach might work. I can find a contradiction. Otherwise, I should look for an inconsistency in his emotions. I feel like the emotions thing is still working for us. I didn't find any... I don't know. Okay, let's look for inconsistent emotions. Got it, boss. But if you want to try looking for a contradictory statement instead, just let me know. I can easily switch over. Oh, whoops, I should charge my phone. It hasn't been charging. I heard crying from next door. Of course I was worried. She was crying. I hurried over and opened the door to the robotics lab. Before I could lead Adina out of there. Curse my luck, Dr. Sachs came in. I refused to hand Adina over, and so I had no choice but to kill my mentor. Let me see. Crying. Hang on. I mean, if they had the argument, they could have left. I was about to say if we could use Ponko's testimony. But Jay, she could have left. Even at Dr. Sykes gave Athena, the stone was cut from real moon rock that was used for research. I'm also trying to look at contradiction-based approach, just in case. Yes, I will drink some water. Good idea. You could just say, I'm sad for Athena. I'm angry at her. That's not a contradictory emotion. Angry but surprised that Dr. Sykes came in. That's not a contradictory emotion at all. Not sad.
Got it.
Review emotions. No. What about the big surprise? You went from... You were sad because you heard her crying, and then you were mostly surprised? I mean, that could be a contradictory emotion.
Got it.
I mean, I guess lack of sadness is also. How odd. Also a thing. Why would you register surprise at opening the door to the lab? Alright, fine, I'll explain if I must. What surprised me was Ponko. That toy figure attacked me. What? Dr. Sykes knew full well of my plan to rescue Athena, but she couldn't stand guard over her daughter 24 hours a day. So Dr. Sykes had Ponko do it. That's right, she ordered Ponko to forcibly remove me on sight. So I slashed Ponko up with a katana that was there in the lab. Damn it, this guy's explaining so much! This guy is very tricky. Huh. That rickety old puppet wasn't worthy of that fine blade. Mr. Wright, it's happening again. There's even more noise now. Oh my god. He thought it all out. This guy's a fucking genius, bro. I'm at 100% now. What's going on here? Whenever we find an opening, he covers it up with lies. We'll never get rid of the noise at this rate. That means we have to switch to contradictory evidence. It's pretty hard to keep telling coherent lies like that. His mind really are as sharp and strong as a katana. Alright, what should I tackle first this time? Time for his testimony. I think there might be an inconsistency in Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. Alright, let's give it a thorough check then. With a feeling of dread, I opened the robotics lab door. Just then... Ponko attacked me. I retaliated by cutting it into pieces. Bam, bam, bam. Before I could lead Athena out of there, curse my luck, Dr. Sykes came in. This motherfucker's come up with an entire, rescue story. I refused to hand Athena over, so I had no choice but to kill my mentor. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a minute. That blade has blood on it.
Objection!
Objection! Prosecutor Blackwell, your statement is inconsistent with this evidence. But there's blood on it! I guess, what, is that oil? Oh no, he grabbed a katana. I mean, I get in this image it doesn't look bloody. But no, she's not dead yet. Did I have... Huh. What's your opinion, Chief Prosecutor? As always, I'm afraid the only thing that is logically inconsistent here is Mr. Wright himself. In that case, as always, I'll give Mr. Wright a penalty. What? You've never given me penalties before. Fake news. Oh, his testimony has to be it. There's gotta be something in there. Not much else you could do in jail. I mean, apparently this guy talks to a bunch of inmates. Multiple different ones. This is an info update that he kills. Ponko attacked me and retaliated by cutting him to pieces. The victim's blood was found only on the blade. Oh, wait. We have to have this part, though. Punko's bloody stump. That's what it is.
Objection!
Objection. Okay, I was on the right track. I just presented the wrong evidence. Combining lies with more lies is never the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. Take a look at this photo. That's the photo of the supposed moment of the murder, isn't it? How many more times must I see that which damned me for my sin? The ironic thing is, I think this picture is actually going to be your savior now. See the bloodstain at the end of Punko's arm, where it was severed with the katana? I hope you aren't claiming that robot's blood. It's a robot's blood, Mr. Wright. I'm actually claiming the opposite. No, most likely the blood was transferred there from the bloody katana. The katana already had blood on it, so then it must have been the victim's blood. That's right, but if that's the case, we find a glaring inconsistency. Yep, sorry, buddy. You said in your testimony that you cut up Punko, and then you killed Dr. Sykes. But in spite of that, the victim's blood is already on Punko's arm in this picture. What? But that couldn't be! Exactly. In order for the blood to have transferred from the sword to Punko's arm, the victim must have been stabbed first before the robot was slashed. In other words, Prosecutor Blackwell, your entire testimony is nothing but a giant ball of lies. Woo! Ah! Tell the court the truth, Prosecutor Blackwell. Now! You have no idea what you're doing! His voice, there's so much discord. I'm hearing not just one or two, but a bunch of rampaging emotions here. It's hard to describe, it's like a violent whirlpool or something. Phoenix Wright, you will pay for this. Never have I been forced to reveal so much, but the rest I will take to my grave. Prosecutor Blackwell, you are on the witness stand. You are obligated to tell the truth. Isn't that the rule of the courtroom? All of these complex emotions, they seem to be flowing from one source. I think whatever he really saw that day is what's causing these feelings. Oh, bunch of errors. Going into overdrive. Oh my god. Open that door then. I saw it. That terrible scene. Before I could lead Adina out of the air, I cursed my luck. Uh-huh. Punko. Adina. Robotics lab. Maybe Punko? Wait a minute. Oops. Dr. Six comes in. No choice but to kill my mentor. It has to be Punko, but I can't get it. It's the chair. The katana, the chair. Just but to kill my own mentor. What about her jacket and this image that you didn't at all talk about? No, I'm not. The images isn't too important. Also, we have to probe. Gonna go say it was Ponko, but Athena also. Athena crying. Yeah, alright, let's try Ponko. Got it! The root cause of all these emotions is this! And I'm actually not getting any particular big reading there, Mr. Wright? I guess it's not it then. It could be caused by to react with all of these emotions at once. Then it's Adina. I totally forgot that that's what the thing is here. Right. Got it! Totally forgot that, like, I'm supposed to find a root cause there. When you opened the door and saw Athena, you became overwhelmed by emotions. Isn't that right, prosecutor? You should know better. And though it's pathetic, I admit I'm terrified to speak of it. Prosecutor Blackwell, Miss Sykes is innocent. I will always believe that with all my heart. Now, you can't find it within yourself to believe in me too? Athena is innocent, huh? Can you honestly say you believe that to be true, right, Dono? I give you my word. Now tell me what you really saw when you opened that door. Curse you, Phoenix Wright! Oh no! It was a tragedy. One I'll never forget. When I arrived at the lab, Dr. Sykes was already dead. She was lying on the operating table. The bloody katana lay on the floor. And standing between the two. Oh no! Covered in blood was Athena. She smiled with a far-off look in her eyes as she sweetly said, "No." Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her. Ah, damn it all. That's what I saw. And now you have it. The truth that you desperately wanted. Didn't you go? Athena? No. Prosecutor Blackwell finally tells the truth, and this is what it is? It's beyond devastating. No, Athena! I tried to take my mother apart? Yo, Athena, calm down. Take a deep breath. I... No! No! Oh, God, no. Maybe we shouldn't have had her come here. So it was me. I'm the one who killed my mother. Athena! As I said, right, the truth isn't always pretty. Murder, disassembly on an operating table, a scientist using her daughter as a guinea pig. Sadly, it appears that my theory was correct after all. Objection! It's true that Athena didn't like her mother's research, but you dare cast aspersions on my mentor by claiming Athena was used in such a manner. Dr. Sykes could be awkward with people. She loved her daughter with all her heart.
She loved me.
Your mother hated to see you suffer because you could hear the voices of people's hearts. She wanted to set you free of your pain, so she worked tirelessly on her research. She was a workaholic because she was trying to save her daughter. Do you remember those headphones you hated so much? I'm assuming if you had them off, then, well, the voices would go insane.
Yes. My head hurt every time I wore them.
No, Adina. It's just the opposite. They emitted sound waves to nullify emotional input from the voices of people around you. Your power is much stronger than it is now. Those headphones were what enabled you to carry on with your everyday life.
No, that can't be true. Then why? Why would I have done something like that? To somebody who loved me so much.
Her love for you is real. That I can guarantee. That's why I knew. That's what happened. It had to be some kind of mistake. I couldn't let you be punished for it. So you took the blame yourself. You and your mentor are more alike than you know. Punko was a witness. Punko was a witness, so I put it in the case. And held Adina close. And vacated the lab. I drew Punko away in the boarding lounge trash chute. And I hid the case on the Space Center grounds. I'm surprised they still picked him up, though. It would seem that we now have all the facts of this case. Hold it! No, not yet. It can't end like this. Objection. Do not disgrace yourself, Mr. Wright. The truth has been revealed. Or are you the type of man to turn your back on things that disagree with you? I'm not. But this? I can't give up now. I have to say something. Anything, even if it's a bluff. I've always managed to pull through that way in the past. I have to make it work. Use my super bluffing powers. They always work. The defense is, prepared to present evidence.
Mr. Wright,
Yes, Adina?
it's okay. You can stop now. I don't want you or anyone else to suffer any longer for my sake.
Adina, what are you saying? Yo, Apollo, I kinda need your help, buddy. I can't do this by myself.
I killed my mother. That's the truth.
Apollo, it's your game trilogy. Get over here and help me.
It's just like Prosecutor Edgeworth said. We have to face it, no matter how much it hurts. I admit my guilt.
No. Her character model is still sort of standing in that model. It's, 3DS graphics.
But could I please be granted just one chance to tell everyone what I recall?
It appears Miss Sykes is much braver than you, Mr. Wright. What say you, Your Honor? In light of her courage, will the court give Miss Sykes this opportunity to confess? Very well. Then if you would, please, take the stand, Miss Sykes. Damn it.
Thank you for letting me do this, Prosecutor Edgeworth. And thank you, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Blackwell, for letting the truth be known. Now we can finally move forward, and everyone's suffering can come to an end.
Tina, we still have evidence. Let me present it. The moon rock. No, Wright's just talking nonsense. Prosecutor Blackwell will be cleared, and the dark age of law can come to an end. Yes, admit your guilt. Bring everything to its conclusion. Edgeworth is just like, yeah, it's time to let this happen. Sure. Gotta save the dark age of law by convicting this girl.
I killed my mother.
My memory is still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. Your Honor, please find me guilty. I dare say, these are all memories that no one but the murderer would have. I see. Thank you for your confession. I believe this trial has gone on long enough. Before we conclude, does anyone have a counter-argument? Follow!
Objection!
Yeah! No, that was Apollo. I do, Your Honor. But still, Phoenix, go! Get him! They sounded somewhat similar. Mr. Wright! But Mr. Wright, why? I killed her. I remember it now. Any counter-argument now is pointless.
Objection!
Objection! You can't stop me. Don't tell me you've forgotten one of the basic tenets of lawyering. Always believe in the client to the bitter end. Athena, you are not a murderer.
Objection!
Objection. I said that you never changed, but could you actually regressed in these 8 years? Hey, I believed in you. I believed in you! Don't you remember it? I won't stand for your childish emotionalism getting in the way of the truth. Emotionalism? Don't lecture me on the matters of the heart, Edgeworth. Because I can see straight into a person's soul. The Magatamas. They're still there. So her confession doesn't change anything. I did a little research. I looked into the special cyclops you mentioned, Mr. Nick. Athena isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart, her memories are sealed off, even from herself. Oh, we're doing this right now? There's still a chance. Somewhere deep in Athena's heart. For a Magatama session here. There might still be a memory that not even she knows about yet. It might be like looking for a grain of sand somewhere in a cosmos, but still, that memory might contain a new fact that could prove her innocence. I hope for everyone's sake that you're not just bluffing, Mr. Wright. Now, is there or is there not a problem with Miss Sykes' confession? My memory's still a little hazy, but there's no question. Do you remember the weight of the weapon? Feeling it stabbing deep. Well, what's stabbing what deep? Well, it depends what she stabbed. Huh. Blood. There's definitely something wrong with her memory of the event. I could just tell. If there is a problem with her confession, please prove it to Discord now. Let's go to Blackwell. He could have put the robot. What did she do? Katana, the victim's staff jacket, and the cart were found nearby. Stab wound to the chest, the weapon pierced the heart, and so death was instantaneous. Human with their heartbeat detection system. Recognize people by scanning their spacesuit. Jacket ID tag can also recognize facial features for people's emotions by analyzing their tone of voice and communicating with them. all this is other stuff that we don't really need. At one launch imminent. The jacket. Oh, this is odd. 100%. If there is a problem with the... Okay, still hazy. There's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, the feeling of it stabbing in deep, and I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my finger. Oh! There is no blood on the handle!
Take that!
Take that! Is not the katana the defendant used to kill the victim, Mr. Wright? I respectfully and vehemently disagree, Your Honor. But I remember holding the weapon and getting blood on my fingers. That's exactly my point. If blood really did get on your fingers while you were holding it, there should be blood on the handle. Please focus on the handle of this sword. There's no trace of blood on it. And therefore, this is clearly a contradiction of the facts. You're right. Oh my!
Objection!
Objection! Huh. The defendant must have simply confused a portion of her memories. She mentioned it was hazy to begin with, and we can't mull over every minor detail.
Objection!
Objection! But she also said there's no question I remember it. A fact we can't ignore. In that case, why don't you explain what this contradiction in her memories means? Gladly! I can do that. Just give me a sec to think of something. Contradiction in her memories. One to say that Athena didn't stab anyone, but she said it herself that she remembers feeling committing the act. Think Phoenix, think. What could the contradiction with Athena's memories mean? Blood was wiped off the weapon. No, that's not. Defendant used a different weapon. A different weapon was used. Miss Sykes said blood flowed down the handle, but the katana's handle is spotless. So doesn't it follow that the defendant must have used a weapon other than the katana? What are you up to this time? This is it. This time I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good. The weapon that took Dr. Sex's life was the katana. That much is for sure. So if I can show a possibility that Athena didn't use the katana, it could help me prove her innocent. A different weapon, you say? What weapon would that be exactly? Right. Of course he would ask that. I can see you floundering, Mr. Wright. Did you speak without thinking again, as always? How does he do that? I can't back down. Not here, not now. That's right. I did. Because it's so obvious, it doesn't require any thought. What did you say? What? Okay, so maybe that was an exaggeration, but there has to be something. Was there some kind of bladed weapon in the robotics lab that day? Maybe there's something in one of the crime scene photos. Wait a minute. There is something. There's a high probability that that was in the lab. I don't have a particular weapon here in evidence right now, but I do have a piece of evidence just like it. Yes, it's the utility knife. Other than the katana, this is another blade that may have been at the crime scene.
Take that!
Take that! But that's the murder weapon in the Clay Terran case. Yes, this is a knife that took Mr. Terran's life. But there must have been a knife just like this at the scene 7 years ago as well. Toolkits containing utility knives like this one are issued to Space Center employees. And the robotics lab especially would naturally have one of these around.
Objection!
Objection?
But besides katana, no other bladed weapon was found at the site. It was in the investigation report, if you didn't know. Objection! Oh, of course I knew that. You told me just now. Then here's something else you'd already knew. There was a toolkit at the scene, but it didn't contain any blades. Here's a photo of its contents. Yeah, one of them is missing though. You're right, I don't see any kind of bladed tool. Fine. But isn't there something odd about the design of these handles? They're also supposed to spell logo. Not only is one missing, by the way, they're also supposed to spell the logo, so they're misshapen. Therefore, there was no other bladed weapon in that room. Objection! I disagree. This toolkit contained a knife. What proof do you have of that? But because there's a missing item in there. It's not even the fucking logo, Edgeworth. There's a missing item in the goddamn toolkit. What are you talking about? You're the last person in the world who should be criticizing my aesthetic sense. Sorry, my blue suit is amazing. It's iconic. No, you're simply watching out for your ocular health. Please proceed, Mr. Wright. Notice that the handles of each of these tools have a sort of design on them. There's one missing. You could just say that. But yes, let's go with the icon. I see that they do. But what significance does that have? It's clear that one of the tools is missing from this kit. But if we rearrange the tools into a specific pattern, we might be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing. Huh. Is that theory your pitiful sense of aesthetics helped you come up with? Edgeworth, just let it go, man. Show the court then, if you would. What pattern or design would we see if we rearrange the tools? Where's the logo? Oh, there it is. Robotics with a heart. Gaxa. And what design is this supposed to be represent? The Gaxa logo, Your Honor. It's on all of the Space Center documents and pamphlets. As you're aware, Gaxa is a program that operates the Cosmos Space Center. Look at how brightly the Gaxa logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going on. Gaxa, huh? Isn't that a new name for the Federal Space R&D program? Oh, I think I see it now. But yes, with just the tools shown in this photo. And this photo. The red A part of the logo is missing. And this is where the murder weapon from the Terran case comes into play. If we were to place the utility knife in that open slot. Ta-da! It would complete the Gaxa logo. Okay, so you have to prove that a knife was there, so we then rearrange it. Okay, I guess I can get that. But still, you're gonna just say, you don't even need to show the logo. It's just like, yo, there's a missing item in there, guys. Come on, man. One of them could be a blade. I was told that everyone gets one of these. So it would. Then that means... Admit it, Mr. Edgeworth. My aesthetic sense is keener than yours. And while you're at it, admit that the weapon Miss Sykes used could have been this one. Not my aesthetic sense. Order! Order in the court! Miss Sykes confessed to having a memory of stabbing the victim. Look at this motherfucker. Just let in with my aesthetic sense is keener than yours. Admit that. Also, you know, Miss Sykes is, they'll probably use that weapon. Miss Sykes confessed to having a memory of stabbing the victim. Admittedly, Miss Sykes most likely did stab someone using the utility knife. However, the weapon used to kill Dr. Sykes was the katana. Therefore, the act of stabbing that Miss Sykes remembers couldn't be that of Dr. Sykes. Very well. Let's suppose for a minute that Miss Sykes did use the utility knife. Tell me, how does that change anything? Come again?
What if the katana was only being used as a decoy to conceal the true murder weapon? What if the real weapon that took the victim's life was the utility knife? Ridiculous. Are you changing the premise of your entire argument? He always does that. I'm merely offering a hypothetical situation delivered from your logic. Miss Sykes could have put blood on the katana and made it look like the murder weapon. You're all forgetting that she's like 11 years old. And then conceal the knife on her personage until Blackwell carried her away. 11 years old. Does clear up the contradiction between Miss Sykes' memories and the evidence. If in fact the murder weapon is the utility knife, then fate has dealt you a cruel hand. Well, to be fair, I guess it's better than trying to accuse a small lad attempting to shoot a fucking big ass hand cannon, not having any injuries after that, and being like, he totally did it. This one is a little girl stabbed her mom. If in fact the murder weapon is the utility knife, then fate has dealt you a cruel hand. For you have just proven the knife's existence to the rest of us with your own logic. Objection! That the prosecution is attempting to lead the court. Objection? You're the one attempting to lead the court, Mr. Wright. By forcing us to forget the facts of this case, need I remind you that there are only 2 people in the lab at the time of the murder. The defendant herself recalls stabbing someone with her own hands. No. No, don't worry, it could have been anyone in there. Like, there was a time where Blackwell wasn't in there and Ponko was just shut down, so someone could have been in there. Matters not whether the murder weapon was a katana or a utility knife, as long as we know that the victim and the defendant were the only ones there. You could not escape the fact that it was Adina Sykes who killed her own mother. I don't believe it. Why? Why does this keep happening? Every time I find a contradiction, it vanishes, and the suspicion keeps coming back. It's almost as if... Huh. Now you're finally starting to get it. Your contradiction keeps vanishing because the charge is true. The suspicion keeps coming back to the defendant because that's where it belongs. Phoenix Wright. When will you open your eyes and accept the truth? Oh, he's losing it too. Everyone's losing it in this case. I don't want to believe it. It can't be true. I'm gonna stretch. Hopefully we wind down to the end of this soon, though, because it is getting late already. Goodness. I knew the case would be long, but still. Oh. Look at Phoenix. So depressed. Phoenix, you know what will help you? Some good water. Maybe a snack. I'm gonna do like that Ryan Gosling television meme that was a long time ago. We just put the food near the table. The table, TV. It was like, come on, Phoenix, take your water. Paul should just come in here with some sandwiches. That would help. Oh, boy. reaching the 5-hour mark. Goodness. All right, Phoenix, let's wrap it up. Come up with a solution faster, sir. I got a bedtime to keep. Can't be true. What if... Mr. Wright, you fought a good fight. I think you've done all you can do. Let's just go home. Get the hostages safe. Is giving up really the only option? No. Snap out of it, Phoenix. What's the matter with you? Giving into doubt? I can't look back. Forward is the only way to go. No, Your Honor, not yet. It isn't over yet. Right. I can't lose sight of what's important. I believe in Adina, and I'll always believe in her. To the very end. The defense lawyer never gives up on his client. I have to pick myself up and stand firm. Make that brain of yours work, Phoenix. If I don't see a way, I'll just have to go back and look for one. Time to rethink this case thoroughly. Oh yeah, this thing. I can see the fact that Adina must have stabbed someone with the utility knife. This must have been what Ponko witnessed as Adina's hug. But Prosecutor Bucko didn't see the knife at the scene. This means that someone must have removed it from the lab before he arrived. Who could have taken the knife from the lab? Maybe Metis Sykes. During the hug. Maybe Dr. Sykes was still alive and she's the one who took the... Oh, no, Oh. Nah, that's definitely not it. Oh, I thought during the hug thing. That she stabbed her accidentally and was like, oh, damn it, Adina, I gotta go take this. It just throws it out or something. So it's gotta be a third party, obviously. A third person was at the scene. If I trust in Adina, then I have to conclude that there was a third person at the scene. But according to Punko's testimony, Adina and her mother were the only two there. But face recognition. So then how did this third person manage to escape Punko's detection? I know this person must have fooled Punko's facial recognition feature by covering Punko's face. Their own face. The victim's face. Their own face. They had a mask. But wait a minute. Punko has a heartbeat detection system too. Even if they covered their own face, Punko would have still detected their presence. But she wouldn't be able to tell who they were. Wait, that's it. The couple could have covered their face and pose as which person to avoid detection. The hug! Metis! The person posed as the victim! If the culprit posed as the victim, that would explain why Punko thought only she and Adina were there. All they had to do was take advantage of Punko's basic recognition features. The culprit used this in order to pose as the victim. According to her voice. Her jacket. Okay. And the stab wound was there. The culprit could have posed as the victim by wearing her jacket with the ID tag on it. That still leaves the heartbeat detection system. How'd the culprit get around that? It wouldn't have worked if Punko could detect the real Dr. Sykes' heartbeat too. Does that mean that the real Dr. Sykes was already dead by that time? If that's the case, then who did Adina stab? The victim. The defendant? The real culprit. She attacked the culprit! Let's go! Adina stabbed the real culprit. That's it! The person Adina stabbed wasn't Dr. Sykes. It was the person who murdered her and then pretended to be her. The real culprit! Now that Mr. Rat has finally finished thinking, let us bring this to his swift end. He's been standing there for a good 20 minutes. I don't even know if he's breathing, actually. I'm a little worried. Please give us your verdict, Your Honor, so we can get him to a hospital. Also, the hostages. Absolutely right, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I don't know why I thought you were a professor. Anyway, hereby. What the fuck? I didn't say I was finished. I was only pausing for a second. That was like 20 minutes. But I realized something so shocking I had to take a break to digest it. But now I know for a fact that Miss Sykes is innocent. But Punko saw me. She witnessed this moment of the crime. Yes, Punko did witness something. She saw the hug. In other words, the moment you used the utility knife. But the person you stabbed wasn't your mother. What are you saying, Mr. Wright? The answer is simple. The person Miss Sykes stabbed was a third person, posing as Dr. Sykes. What? Yeah, let's go.
Objection!
Objection? Oh, do you really expect us to swallow that, Mr. Wright? According to the robot's statements, there was no person there. I've swallowed a lot from you. Do you really think I wouldn't see through your ludicrous grab for time?
Objection!
Objection! After all we've been through, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm disappointed. After all we've been through. Don't you know what by now that this smile of mine means I have absolute confidence? That's true. Oh, you serious right now? Oh, you serious right now? What the fuck? Huh. You make that pose all the time, regardless of the facts. I mean, that's true. Plunko's strange malfunction. Mr. Taryn, you look pale. Can I help you to the sick bay? Mr. Taryn? But that's Apollo you're talking to. Looks like a junk here is mistaking Apollo for Clay. Maybe Apollo's possessed by Clay's ghost. That was another case of mistaken identity caused by a jacket ID tag. All because Plunko couldn't read Apollo's facial features due to that eye patch. Oh, yeah. Like Mr. Edgeworth said, a mask could nullify the robot's facial recognition. And then, all the person would have to do is wear a jacket with the victim's ID tag to pose as her.
Objection!
Objection! To all the ridiculous theories, what good would a silly disguise like that do? Have you forgotten that the robot also has a heartbeat detection system? If there was a third person at the scene, the robot would have detected them. Nope. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but that doesn't count for much, I'm afraid. Because by that time, Dr. Sykes' heart had already stopped beating. What? Does that mean? Yes, Your Honor. The person Miss Sykes stabbed. This third person who was posing as Dr. Sykes is her mother's real killer. That's... I'm... It's impossible! I thought you were saying I'm. Dude, you good? A mask? The person I stabbed was wearing a mask? Order! Order in the court! Miss Sykes, did you say something? A mask. Oh god, it's a mask! Oh, that's creepy. Yes, I remember. Dina, what is it? Don't force yourself too much, girl. It's okay. Are you good? I remember a man with a mask. Oh, Jesus, that would be fucked up. No, it's poor girl. How could he? What did he do to my mother? My head. Miss Sykes, are you alright? No, this woman needs therapy. No! The black cyclops. They're breaking. That's not good. That is not good. She doesn't need to have this all come out like right now. Oh, shit.
It's all coming back to me. Everything that happened that day my mother was murdered.
Yo, girl, what happened?
They're gone. The black cyclops are finally gone.
You didn't really stab your mother, did you?
It's alright, Adina. Just tell us what you saw that day. I was drawing a picture. When it was done, I went to show it to my mom. I opened the door, and then... It's alright. I'm right here. You're safe, Adina. She was on the floor, by the workbench, with the katana sticking out of her. There was a handkerchief over her face, but I knew it was her by her clothes. And there was a man there.
Oh, man!
Hold it!
Hold it. Quiet, Your Honor. Go on, Adina.
Yes, Your Honor, and he needs to go through this.
He tried to attack me. In the panic, I grabbed the knife that was there, and... He dodged at first, so I only got his clothes. But I tried again.
And this time you got him, didn't you?
I did. I remembered it clearly now. The knife went into the back of his hand. Then he kicked me, and I passed out.
The murder weapon used on Terran, Adina also used one of these to stab the Phantom's hand during the incident 7 years ago.
When I came to, my mom wasn't moving. I had to do something. I had to fix her. I thought... So I asked Ponko to move her to the operating table.
Aww. That is sadly true. She thought that it would work.
Something's wrong with Mom. So I'm taking her apart to fix her.
Damn. This poor girl. Good lord. Oh boy. That's why she said that. Your Honor, as you can see, the defendant has just given us critical new testimony. A man was there before Miss Sykes arrived. A man who covered the victim's face and put on the victim's jacket. This man is the real culprit. Miss Sykes, do you have any idea who this man was?
No. I'm afraid I don't.
A few moments ago, Miss Sykes mentioned a mask.
Adina, can you tell us anything else about that? Yes. The mask. It was my mom's Japanese theater mask. I think it was the one hanging on the wall of the lab.
Ah, this mask hanging over here on the wall.
It was kind of spooky. The mask. My mom used to tell me that a no mask even has the power to turn an ordinary human being into a phantom.
A phantom? It would seem the new suspect has emerged. That means that all suspicion against Miss Sykes has... No, then I'm guessing Aura is gonna come in.
Hold it!
Aura, you have to believe it. Come on, we have evidence!
You see, this is precisely why I can't trust the court system. Adina Sykes is the murderer. I won't accept any other verdict.
Miss Blackwell!
This is not good. New suspect. Where's the proof this person ever existed? Who says it wasn't all just a dream in the little princess's groggy little head?
We need decisive evidence. She's right, we don't have any hard evidence of the masked man's existence.
Objection!
Objection! Thank you, Mr. Wright. I'll never be able to repay you for all you've done. But I'm fine now because I can say with certainty that I didn't kill my mother. Adina, I'm so glad for you. More and more memories are coming back now. So I'd like to say one thing if I could. Ponko came to the robotics lab at around 2 p.m. to recharge.
Yep, a regular recharge. came in and hugged Mommy Menace. And they fell down.
See, we're going with this. If Mommy Menace was really the killer in disguise. Right. Then he must have come to the robotics lab before 2 p.m. Do I have anything here in the evidence? Someone that came here before 2 p.m. that can help me find this person who came to the lab before 2 p.m. This victim's body. Moonrock's gone. One to 3 p.m. So before 2 p.m. It's a death due to stab wound. Determine the presence of humans. Communicate with them. The stone was cut from a real moon rock that was being used in research. It's gotta be one of these guys. Even the defendant we cleared. It can even be him. Is it? Dude, what if it's Clay? Oh, if it's Clay, that'd be fucked up. No, he's like a kid at this time. He hung out though. No, he's not a kid. No, he is around 7 years ago. He's like teenager years, but it's still possible. I don't know why it would be him though. What could tell me that this person came in at 2 p.m. or before 2 p.m.? This has to be a piece of evidence. To the 4th floor. At 1 launch imminent. This person? Could be the third party spy. Is it this guy? No, it probably isn't them. Or maybe they helped the spy. It could be one of the spy members. I'm leaning towards this one because it has a 1 launch imminent thing. It didn't tell me what time it was. The reporter. It's either this one. Well, no. Did they come in before? The reporter could have come in at any time, I guess. Okay, so it's either the photo of the crime, which was taken by a reporter that was present there, but I mean, or the Hat 1 exhibit has some photos as well. Some reports. There's also a space diagram. That's not really... Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. I'm thinking. Okay, so 2 pieces of evidence I got. It's the Hat 1 exhibit, or this one that was taken by the reporter. I'm gonna go with the Hat 1 exhibit since that has more people in it. Take that. This piece of evidence will reveal the identity of the person who came to the lab. Listen now, then reveal away. By all means. Oh, how about if we team up for this, Mr. Edgeworth? No. How about you, Your Honor? What do you say? Certainly, I'll help you. I'll help you remember to think before you speak. Ow! Tag team by lemon juice and paper cut. An image of the culprit possibly have been captured anywhere. Do I have anything here in the evidence that can help me find this person came to the lab before 2 p.m. An image of them. An image. Well, this is my guess. I guess the other guess I had, but we already talked about that. The mask. Can determine the presence of human in their heartbeat detection system. Recognizing people by scanning their recognize the person's facial features once the face has been registered. Can wait. What about the Punko things? Photo of the crime. This piece of evidence will reveal who was at the lab. Okay, let's talk about the Punko facial recognition features.
Take that!
This piece of evidence. No. We're reloading. Taking too many hits. Right. Sometimes the graphic design is my passion. It's the one that's lit up. Let me think. So I use this. It's a crime scene. I only watched a few days ago. He's losing a chat. I'm maybe losing it a little bit. Haven't gotten this stuck in a while. I remember the original Ace Attorney games I was stuck quite a bit, but I think case 2 I was kind of stuck. An earring that Dr. Sykes gave Adina. The stone cut was from real moon rock used in research. I mean, this is it. This is what I used, but it doesn't do anything for me. Hope. Came to the lab before 2 p.m. Tried that. Tried the photo of Blackwell. That doesn't work. Video showing the corridor of the crime scene. Blackwell was the only one to pass Drew at the time of the crime. Did they have anything else? Like, do they have any other footage of the place? Oh my god, this is Prosecutor Blackwell leaving the scene after the incident at around 3 p.m. What I'm wondering is, does the video show anyone else passing by there before then? I don't see anything in the investigation report. Looks like they didn't check. Just as I thought. So we rewind the footage and go back around 2 p.m. We should be able to see the true culprit leaving the scene. Are you serious? Why didn't they ever talk about that? Very well then, let's take a look. Just rewinding. There, please stop it right there. There it is. What the why didn't they ever check this? It was just like, it's Blackwell leaving. That's him. They see a man with a bloody hand. A knife wound jacket. And him covering his face. They were like, nah, it's none. God, what? Although I feel like this is accurate to cold cases. A lot of cold cases are cold because police are just ineffectual at their fucking jobs. It reminds me of the Black Dahlia murders and how, like, a lot of that could have been solved. Just some of them were like, corruption, I'm not dealing with that. It's just like you said. There's a man leaving the scene of the crime. Miss Sykes, do you remember this person? That's him. I'm sure of it. He's wearing my mother's jacket. I did, but what I really wanted to see was her jacket. Back on display. That's Dr. Sykes's. Can you see it? There's a slash I made with the utility knife that day. And I'm sure that knife is under that jacket somewhere.
So then, everything Miss Sykes said.
Exactly. It proves Miss Sykes' memory was correct. Dr. Sykes' killer arrived at the robotics lab before 2 p.m. He killed her and hid her face with a handkerchief. Then, he disguised himself with Dr. Sykes' jacket and mask that were there in the lab. The culprit probably knew beforehand that Punko charged up at 2 p.m. every day. So he waited for Punko to come to the lab and for her regular recharge. By leaving Dr. Sykes' jacket on, the culprit tricked Punko into thinking he was Dr. Sykes, thereby making it look like she was alive up to that point in time. All to disguise the real time of death. Objection. What? What else do you have? It's a nice theory, Miss Striped, but I'm afraid that it's just not possible. What? Why not? There's literally video evidence of a man with blood on his hand. The victim's jacket is clearly visible right there in this video. And that right there is precisely the problem. The ID tag on the jacket at the scene confirms beyond doubt that it belonged to the victim. The person who left the lab truly was wearing the victim's jacket. Then how could it possibly have wound up back at the crime scene? What's going on? That doesn't make sense. Hector was right. If the culprit was wearing the jacket, how did it get back to the lab? The killer brought it back. The victim brought it back. The victim brought it back. Dead woman. Although... I would think that he was wearing the jacket and that's what he's getting at that line of thinking. The victim, quote-unquote, brought it back? A fucking ghost in the machine type shit? As in the dude, the actual killer, but I mean that we should say the killer brought it back. The defendant brought it back, yes. They're gonna say the killer brought it back. The killer used the jacket as a disguise to make his escape. But in order to conceal that fact, he had to get the jacket back to the crime scene. So the culprit simply returned to the robotics lab later and planted it there. Contradiction resolved. Objection. Except that it would have been impossible. The only people who came to the robotics lab after the killer were Prosecutor Blackwell and the people who reported the body. And they claimed that the jacket was there when they arrived. So, when you propose this mysterious man of yours had the chance to return the jacket? A puzzling question indeed. Why did the culprit have a chance to bring the jacket back? When the body was found? At the time of the murder? Well, no, at the time of the murder, just right when the body was found. Maybe he was one of the first people who found it. The only time the culprit could have returned the jacket was when the body was found. Mr. Rudd, do you realize the implication of that argument? Yes. Yes, I do. I do. Most people, when they come across a murder, focus their attention on the body. The culprit could have taken advantage of that split second to plant the jacket. In other words, the true culprit of this case, the man known as the Phantom, was one of the first people to discover the body.
I would never have thought of that.
I mean, most police usually convict the first person who finds the body as like they probably did it. In any case, but okay.
Order! Order is court! What? What is the meaning of this, Prosecutor Edgeworth?
The body was discovered and reported by a group of 3 people. They were there to collect the space probe's capsule in preparation for the Hat 1 launch. One of those people had a special bag to transport the capsule in. The bag! Oh, you mean the shock-resistant bag? Correct. I suppose that if the jacket was in that bag, it could have been returned to the scene of the crime without anyone noticing. I'll see to it that you get the reports on those 3 people. You will? We should also check the facial recognition database for the robot. This person felt the need to hide his face with the theater mask. It might mean that his facial data was once registered.
Prosecutor Edgeworth! Does this mean...
I have to admit, I believe Miss Sykes' memories to be credible. You win, right? Not that it was ever an official trial anyway, so I technically didn't lose.
Do my ears deceive me? Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you actually conceding?
We did it! Is it true, boss? Does this mean I'm... I can't believe it. It's over, I won. I proved that both Adina and Prosecutor Blackwell are innocent. Your Honor, I see no need to further prolong this trial. Objection? Hold on, Mr. Wright. Have you forgotten who's in charge of this trial?
That's right. I'm the one who's supposed to say, I see no need further prolong. No, not you.
Not you either, Your Honor. Now silence.
Come on, alright. This is a lot of evidence. What do you want?
Little princess who was truly beloved by Metis, and who repaid that love with death. All these years hating Athena was the only thing that kept me going. But what do I do now? Can anybody tell me? How am I supposed to go on? Miss Blackwell. How unlike you, Aura. Metis was deeply passionate about her work. She chose you as her partner. Isn't that... Shut up, Simon. You know nothing how I felt about her. Her respect as a co-worker wasn't all that I wanted.
Hmm? Oh, well, you know, it's the 21st century, you know, and
Did you really just go there, Your Honor?
It's like, what else did you want from her? I don't know. I'm with the old times.
There's something I've wanted to say, if you will lend me an ear. I have in my possession a lead on who Metis' murder is.
You do?
Right, don't know. You asked me about the identity of the Phantom of 7 years past. That's right. The Phantom. The person Blackwell has been looking for even from behind bars. Oh, he thinks it's my previous client. No, Starbuck. Can't believe the corporation Starbuck has done this. 7 years ago, somebody hatched a plan to sabotage the Hat 1 rocket. The spy. But he was no ordinary spy. We knew naught about him, his background, appearance. We came to refer to him as the Phantom. At the time, I was working with the police to hunt him down. And then one day, a miracle occurred. And I obtained a lead on him.
Oh, how exciting.
What was the lead? A recording of the Phantom's voice, but the quality was too poor for proper analysis.
Ayo?
Yet I had hope. Aura's co-worker was a scientist who could analyze human emotions, so I asked her to evaluate the recording using analytical psychology. And that scientist was... Dr. Sykes. Yes, a spy's greatest fear is to have his true identity discovered. In addition to Hat 1, Dr. Sykes' results and recording were surely among his targets. But his search of the space center bore no fruit. So he must have started to panic. You couldn't find them. Where could they have been? Who is to say? Wow, I bet he's never let that out of his sight all these years. How in the world did you smuggle them into prison? Oh, I have my ways. What's more, my partner is especially talented at that sort of thing. Oh, God, it's right the bird. Did you little keep... Need to call Kendrick to stop Starbucks. I knew it. It's gonna make a diss track on Starbuck. I worked to lure the Phantom in by spreading rumors throughout the underworld. I was even granted permission to prosecute cases to attract the Phantom's attention. Just try to retrieve your identity, you bloody butcher, became my taunt. What about the results Dr. Sykes drew up for you? Is there any useful information? Here, you can see for yourself, but take good care of it. It's all I have left of my mentor. I swear, if we get courtroom bombed here, I will. But hold on to this real tight. Random psych profile. The subject's emotions rarely fluctuate, and he doesn't experience feelings like normal people do. Psychological profile classified. Emotional output of this voice extremely weak compared to typical voices. Subject deemed to have unique psychological makeup with almost no emotional fluctuation. No emotional fluctuation. Huh. Maybe it's not Starbuck? A spy who experiences no emotions, not sadness, nor anger, and naturally, no fear. He's the very definition of a phantom, a monster with no heart. Don't you see? This creature is the rot that destroyed our lives and sets what ails us all into motion. The phantom indeed, a fitting name for the one who has brought darkness to our world. Oh, hello, Ghost. Sorry. I did not notice you were so enthralled in this case. Prison pocket. I didn't want to mention that. Also, a posture check. I did not want to mention that. Because I'm not a dirty man. He has a hawk. Then not another bomb goes off. It's like, kaboom! Yes. A fourth. So many bombings. Goodness. The spy needs to get a fucking another ammo. Well done. Optimus' faint image of this man has started to take shape. Based on what we have learned, I'd like all of you, to conduct further investigation. There is no formal trial, but I do want to follow protocol. If I may, I'd like to hand down my verdicts and bring these proceedings to an end. Whatever. Do what you want. Huh. You'll have no objections from me. Yes. Please, Your Honor. It's over. It's finally over. Well, in that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, could you please take the stand? As a result of this trial, your innocence has been proven. The verdict handed down 7 years ago is hereby overturned. Huh. I mean, can it actually happen? Because, like, this is not a real trial. And now the defendant for the current trial, Mr. Dina Sykes. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, thank you. Thank you for everything. Adina, you're more than welcome. If everyone is ready, I will now give my verdict. Apollo? You! Objection! Apollo! Why did you come in now? Apollo, what's going on? Apollo! Yeah, sorry guys. I remembered it was my game. I kind of been absent for quite a while. What's the meaning of this? Congratulations, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Edgeworth. You uncovered the truth from 7 years ago, and you saved Prosecutor Blackwell. However, I can't allow this trial to end just yet. Apollo, I want to go to bed. Please! We have hostages to save. They're starving at this point. Maybe thirsty. Has she even been ordering pizza for them or anything? Hi, Apollo. How would you do this to us? No, don't end it here. Ah, fuck's sakes. Oh, but for you, Buppy, stay uppy. I'm not doing that. It's over. I'm going to bed, guys. I can't.
It's literally 11:39. Actually, I did not expect it to go to. I didn't eat a ton. I'm sorry, guys. And no stream tomorrow. Either we continue this on Wednesday or Thursday. But that is it. Holy shit. That was a big trial. That was a big investigation. We still are not done. This one case. It's probably still a second trial because we still have to do that. Everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming by. This has been fun. Thank you all so much. The screen wasn't updating. Just an announcement. I now have new emotes, new subscriber emotes. These are them again. They are fun. Yeah. I'm very excited to find out what happens next time. Who knows what could be happening.